I'm Daniel, this is Cowboy Nation, and welcome to Week 14 of the NFL 2011. This week, the Dallas Cowboys play the New York Giants for the first time. They're going to play them another time. Oh boy. They have lost 4 games in a row. What are the chances that they could lose 5 in a row? Those are slim chances because they're a pretty good team. They are the 23rd ranked defense against the run and the 29th against the pass. So on paper, they look pretty pathetic right there. But all year long, the Dallas Cowboys have been playing teams with really bad defenses and not doing much against them. So I don't have a whole lot of hopes there. Plus, they have a guy named Bradshaw on their team. And no, he's not the quarterback in the 70s. This is a running back. A little guy who just kind of goes everywhere and runs like crazy, and the Cowboys don't know how to put him on the ground. So he's been out for about a month now, which might explain why they've lost 4 in a row. But we have to put up with Bradshaw running all over the place, and we have the big bruiser Jacobs. So I'm not very excited about that either. The Giants have the 4th ranked pass offense, which is pretty good. So Sunday night, in front of the whole world, we're going to have to put up with Nix and Cruz. And we're going to cover them with guys that regularly get burned and miss assignments and allow a lot of points. Now on the other side of the ball, Dallas Cowboys. I like those guys. We have Miles Austin is finally back from injury. Now will he be at 100%? I don't know, but at least having his presence on the field should be pretty helpful. For some reason we have a team that's based on the big play. And so that's all we want to do is just go deep, hit the big play, score a touchdown from 70 yards out. And if we don't do that, then we crash and burn horribly. Because we don't know how to gain 5 yards at a time. It looked really good about a month ago when DeMarco Murray started coming on strong with a fullback who incidentally is back in the game this week. So he's been out for 2-3 weeks. He's been out for a while. And when he was in there with DeMarco Murray, he was getting all kinds of yards, and we were actually using him as a running back. He was getting like 5 and 6 and 7 yards a clip. It was beautiful. We were running out the clock, we were controlling the ball, we were driving down the field. It was like watching the Cowboys of the early 90s. It was amazing. But then suddenly, the fullback got injured, and then we went back to the old ways of just running a little bit and then throwing a whole lot. Like last week against the Cardinals. Really pathetic. There was no time in the game where we were losing by more than 3 points. And yet, we didn't run that much. And then they say, well, the run wasn't working. No, the run was working pretty decently. DeMarco Murray only had like a 3-yard average, but he was gaining, especially at the beginning of the game. He was making progress. Felix Jones came back healthy. He had 6 carries for 36 yards. That's pretty good. That's 6 yards a carry. But instead, we threw a whole bunch. So I think we ran the ball like 20 times or so, and we threw the ball over 40 times. Why are you throwing the ball that many more times when you're not losing by more than 2 to 3 touchdowns? That doesn't make sense. Run the ball, control the clock, score some points. Quit relying on the big play. It's going to kill us. Now the thing that makes me nervous about this game, the Giants have everything to play for and everything to lose. This is their season. This is do or die for the Giants. Okay, because if they lose this game, then they'll be 2 games behind the Cowboys. Now it's still possible for the Giants to recover if they lose, if the Dallas Cowboys have a colossal collapse at the end of the season, which is highly plausible in this day and age. But for the most part, chances are that if the Giants lose this game, they're done. And with our division being so miserable this year and everybody else doing so well, if you don't win the division, you're not going to make the playoffs. You can't come in 2nd place in our division this year and hope to make the playoffs. It's probably not going to happen. So you got to win the whole thing. So that's what the Giants have extra motivation, and they're in Dallas Cowboys home stadium, so they'd love to show up for a big day there. National audience, Sunday night football, beat the Cowboys, because if they beat the Cowboys, the Giants are suddenly tied for 1st place in the division, and they have the head-to-head tiebreaker, so they're really in 1st place. And that's the problem with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, this game's no big deal. Now, it's supposed to be a big deal, but on paper, it's not that big a deal, because if the Cowboys lose, then they're still tied for 1st place. So, that's the kind of motivation our Cowboys usually have, which tends to make us really sad. Now, if the Cowboys are a championship caliber team, what they'll do is they'll go out there and take care of business and beat the Giants and go up by 2 games in the division. And then with 3 more games left in the year, they'll do what needs to be done and win the division and go into the playoffs and make something happen. But realistically, they probably don't have a whole lot of motivation because they know that, hey, well, if we lose, it's not the end of the world. And so then the other 3 games, especially the last game of the season, becomes very important because that's playing against the Giants again. And then we'll have to play for all the marbles on that day. So it'll basically be playoff situation for the rest of the year. Nerve-wracking, irritating. So pretty much it's safe to say whoever wins this game today is going to win the division. Although if the Cowboys lose, they could still theoretically make something happen, but how pathetic is that? I mean, come on, just take care of business right now. As Cowboy fans, we're really annoyed with the way the organization keeps sweeping things under the carpet. Like, yeah, we'll take care of this later. And then they wait till the last minute when their backs are up against the wall and they have everything to lose and nothing to gain. And they fail. And then they blame Romo for something. Anyway, this is Sunday Night Football. It's a chance for the Cowboys to win and start to own the division, which would be very nice. Put the Giants out of their misery, which would be a beautiful thing. So I'm saying 23-22, Dallas Cowboys. A 1-point game. Won't that be fun? And that's wishful thinking. Because when I look at this, I think, wow, how are we going to stop the Giants from scoring 30-something points? And then I think on our side, I think, how are we going to score at least 30 points? I don't know. Because we haven't shown that we can do that over the past several weeks. So, 23-22? Tell you what, I'll be happy if the Cowboys can just score more points than the Giants. That'll be a good time. So, until next time, I'm Daniel, and I will see you on the other side.